The backpacker murders refer to a series of killings that took place in Australia between 1989 and 1993, in which 7 young backpackers, both local and foreign, were brutally murdered. The case, which gripped the world, eventually led to the conviction of Ivan Milat, a serial killer now synonymous with these tragic events. The case not only shocked the Australian public, but also led to significant changes in how authorities approached missing persons cases and hitchhiking safety. The victims were primarily young travelers who were exploring Australia, often hitchhiking through the country's expansive and remote landscapes. They were Deborah Everest, 19, and James Gibson, 19, both Australian. Simone Schmidl, 21, a German backpacker. Anja Habschied, 20, and Gabor Neugebauer, 21, a young German couple. Joanne Walters, 22, and Caroline Clark, 21, British backpackers traveling together. These backpackers went missing while traveling through the region near Belanglo State Forest, about 90 kilometers southwest of Sydney. Most were last seen alive while hitchhiking or traveling in remote areas, making them easy targets for a predator like Ivan Milat, who would lure his victims under the guise of offering a ride. The first bodies were discovered in September 1992 by 2 joggers in the Belanglo State Forest. They found the remains of Joanne Walters and Caroline Clark, buried in shallow graves. Both women had suffered horrific deaths. Walters had been stabbed multiple times, while Clark had been shot repeatedly in the head. It became clear that the killings were not random or impulsive, but methodical and sadistic in nature. Over the next year, as police intensified their search, 5 more bodies were found in the same forest. Deborah Everest and James Gibson, who had disappeared in 1989, were among them, despite some of their belongings being found elsewhere, which initially confused investigators. The German victims, Anja Habschied and Gabor Neugebauer, were found in similar shallow graves, with both showing signs of severe trauma and torture. The New South Wales Police launched an extensive investigation, led by Task Force Air. A dedicated team of investigators meticulously searched the Belanglo State Forest and surrounding areas, hoping to find more bodies or clues that could lead to the killer. Forensic evidence from the crime scenes revealed that the murders were linked, and the police believed they were dealing with a serial killer. One crucial breakthrough came when a man named Paul Onions, a British backpacker, came forward. He recounted a terrifying experience in 1990 where he had accepted a ride from a man who attempted to abduct him at gunpoint near the same area where the bodies were found. Onions managed to escape and, upon seeing the media coverage of the murders, realized that his attacker might be the same person responsible for the killings. With the help of Onion's detailed description and various other leads, investigators zeroed in on Ivan Milat, a road worker living in Sydney. Milat came from a large, troubled family and had a history of violence, including accusations of sexual assault and armed robbery. In May 1994, police raided Milat's home and found crucial evidence linking him to the murders. Items belonging to several of the victims were discovered in his possession, including a camera, camping equipment, and clothing. Furthermore, ballistics tests matched the bullets used in the murder of Caroline Clark to a rifle Milat owned. Milat was arrested and charged with 7 counts of murder. Despite his claims of innocence, the evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was convicted in 1996 and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The backpacker murders left a lasting impact on Australia and its international reputation as a safe destination for travelers. The case raised awareness about the dangers of hitchhiking and led to a reassessment of how missing persons cases were handled. Australian authorities also ramped up efforts to improve safety for tourists, including better communication and outreach to backpackers. For years, there was speculation that Milat may have been responsible for additional unsolved murders or disappearances, as the brutality and methodology of his crimes suggested he could have killed more people than those he was convicted for. Despite his conviction, Milat never confessed to the murders, maintaining his innocence until his death in 2019 from cancer. The backpacker murders have since become a cautionary tale, immortalized in documentaries, books, and films, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind seemingly harmless offers of help, and a grim chapter in Australia's criminal history.